Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. It's my first Champions League watch-along of the season. Couldn't be here last night for the Liverpool win in Milan because it was Man United scoring 7 against the mighty Barnsley, and I think that was the real quiz. But we're here tonight, we're here tomorrow night, Atalanta for Arsenal. What the bloody hell is that all about, by the way? Remind me to talk about that in a moment, because I absolutely think that is an absolute disgrace that Arsenal have got to play on a Thursday night ahead of a massive game against Man City. Just another example of things falling into the lap of the juggernaut that is Manchester City. But we will be watching that juggernaut tonight. As you can see, Inter Milan in the Etihad against Manchester City. And I think Man City might pump them like a bloody porn star tonight. I really do. I think they might score quite a few goals. Inter are a very good team in Italy, but they drew at Monza at the weekend, and Monza's only good for racing. I don't know what they're doing in the Football League, but yeah, it'll be very interesting to just see Manchester City and what Inter Milan are like in this brand new Champions League format. So yeah, lots to get on with. Let me just make sure everybody can hear me. All these United fans in here crying City ain't getting no punishment, so okay, we're not going to talk about that. Why are you doing this game, says Dale? But because I want to do it. I mean, can we just chill out a little bit already? I've only been live for a couple of minutes. I'll fuck off in a minute. But let's get this team news flashing around as well. If you are new to the way we do watch-alongs on here, by the way, it's not bloody Lineker and Shearer. It's really you and me interacting. That's what we want to do, and make it a bit of fun, a bit of banter, a bit of interactivity. So if you've got any either-ors or anything to kick us off, get involved in the chat as well. Swedish Finn has given the first super chat of the evening. Thank you very much. You could do that through the $sign. We'll be reading those out. Swedish Finn said, would you ever consider visiting Finland? We need help with our tourism industry. Mate, I don't know why people don't do this more. I would happily come over to Finland and do a video vlog for the Finnish tourist board. And I'd even write the script. It would be great. It would be great. We could come up with something really good. And it's a nice part of the world, apparently. So I would like to go to Finland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden. But I think that's most of the ones I would go to, definitely. It's dry, don't worry. It's dry. I'm saying that to myself. Last night I started a stream, actually, and I went in the kitchen to get some water, and somebody spilt some water. So I actually trod in a little bit of the water. It wasn't the puppy, it was definitely water, because it was clear. And I was then walking around with a slightly damp sock. I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't know whether you wear slippers all the time in your house or whether you wear socks walking around, but if I get even a little bit of water on the sole of my socks, I have to change my socks. It's a pet hate. It's a pet hate of mine. In fact, we should do pet. That'll be a theme throughout the show. What are your pet hates? Let me know in the chat. Now, if you don't, I'm not talking about goldfish. I hate goldfish, or I'd like to punch a horse. I'm not talking about hating your pets. Although that would make good things to read out, actually, that we will bring that in as well, but you probably will get an email from the RSPCA like I did last year when I was talking about what I'd do to a polar bear with a bazooka. But I was asked the question. But pet hates are things that, probably wouldn't bother normal people, but bother you. Like, I have got no right in my house to moan about anything because I've probably got a million things that annoy people. But one of my pet hates in the kitchen are that whoever has the apple juice never puts it back in the fridge. I don't even drink apple juice. I put apple juice back in the fridge about 5 times a day. In fact, I should be if I charged 10 pence every time I put the apple juice away, I'd make minimum wage. I would. I don't drink it, but whoever drinks it in my house never puts it away. So that's another pet hate of mine. And obviously, as I said, getting a bit of water on the sole of my sock just annoys me. It just really winds me up. What do you think of Villa this season? How they're going to do, says Logan. Very much Look, I don't get involved in this. I know Villa fans and I know Blues fans. I think Villa this season have been brilliant when I've watched them, and I really enjoyed watching Birmingham on Monday. They play really good football, and they don't like each other, Blues and Villa, but I don't mind either of them. And I think Villa, that worldie by Duran, Morgan Rogers is an exciting player. They've got some really, really good technical players. I think Villa are good. It's just about how good their squad's going to be, of course. Solanke versus Calvert-Lewin, says Shea. I will run that through. Thank you very much for your super chat, and I'll certainly, if I do a super chat, we'll definitely whack your poll in. So either or, we like these. We've got Solanke or Calvert-Lewin. Can I just give you some exclusive news as well? EAFC is out on Friday. Goldbridge ball is ready to rock. Goldbridge is back. It was not confirmed. I actually thought last year was my last year doing career mode. I've been getting the itch for about 2 months now, and that itch is about to get scratched. Friday. There's an outside chance it could be tomorrow. Now, people are saying, how the hell? And look, a lot of things have got to fall into place for it to happen tomorrow, but certainly Friday afternoon. It could be a Thursday afternoon. But it'll be live anyway. Just keep your ears peeled for that on my socials. Players are in the tunnel here. Let's quickly go through these teams because Inter Milan have got Sommer, Bastoni, Acerbi, Bisek, Agosto, Zielinski, Kalinoglu, Barella, Darmian, Taremi and Thuram. That is quite there's quite a lot of changes from Sunday actually for Inter. A lot of these players didn't play, like De Vrij is on the bench, Pavard's on the bench, Martinez is on the bench, Mkhitaryan is on the bench, Dumfries is on the bench. A lot of those players did play on Sunday, so he's made a lot of changes here. Manchester City, Ederson, Vardiel, Diaz, Akanji, Rodri, Lewis, Grealish, De Bruyne, Silva, Savinho and Haaland. Bench, Doku, Foden, Gundogan, Kovacic, Nunez, McAtee, Ortega, Stones, Walker. I mean, what a bloody bench. So yeah, looking good for Manchester City tonight, if I'm being honest with you. And I don't actually take a lot of joy in watching Man City, as I'm sure many of you don't. But you've got to be respectful. That's football. Did you know that I was wondering how old he was? Acerbi is 36 in that Inter defence. I was just looking at how old he is because he's getting on a bit. Keep an eye out for Bisek. I quite like him. I'm just going through their team. Augusto, Zielinski. Wasn't Zielinski at Napoli? Zielinski. I'm sure he was at Napoli. Yeah, he was. 30 now. There's a lot of movement in the Kalinoglu's played for nearly every Italian team, I think, as well. Do like Barella, Darmian, obviously. Taremi's interesting. Thuram. I don't think they'll have enough quality tonight, Inter. I really don't. I think Man City could send a big message here. What are you thinking about the new Champions League format, by the way? Do you like it? Let me know in the chat. How are you feeling about that? We've got a pet hate coming in from Darren. Darren says that we've got a pet squirrel. He's always eating my Snickers. I feel like shoving a Snickers up his... Well, Daryl, you can't say that. You can't say that. And although he likes nuts, I don't think he's going to like that sort of insertion. Opinions on Fulham. Hope you're doing okay, mate, says Callum. I think Fulham, Callum, thanks for your super chat, are the quintessential Premier League side. You know, they can give everybody a game, but it's going to be tough this season, isn't it? I think, what a horrible kit. You look like you're wearing crap pajamas, De Bruyne. You look like you've gone round to your in-laws on Christmas Eve to spend the night as a family, and you've woke up and your in-laws have given you crap pajamas. You look an absolute wally. What a horror. You know, that makes me feel better about Man City. That kit is absolutely diabolical. It really is. I wouldn't wear that. I wouldn't wear that in a bloody pantomime. It's absolute. It may as well be I'm a Pratt. Unbelievable. Anyway, I've not even tweeted about this. It's horrible. Why are they wearing that at home as well? You know what? I always think, to be fair to Man City fans, I always think that is the pinnacle of supporting your team, when you'll buy the shittest kit ever just to support your team. It's fucking horrible. I mean, who put pink on it? That's the creme de la creme, that is. That's like having a shit and then being sick on top of it. I mean, it's a shit kit anyway, but putting the pink on it. We're up and running anyway. We're up and running. What time will EAFC be? Says Denise Burns. Normally 3 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock on Fridays when I'm starting, but there's a chance I might start tomorrow. As I say, there's moving parts. We will see. But I'm ready to go. Opinions on Fulham we've done. What do you think of Clattenburg's comments yesterday? John, tell me what he said. Tell me what he said. I did my video today. I did my video today on the VAR audio of Declan Rice and the Bournemouth goal that should have stood. That Bournemouth goal, they've basically admitted it should have been a goal. I mean, if that wasn't Bournemouth and that was Liverpool or Man United, there'd be uproar. They've basically admitted that winner for Bournemouth should have been a winner, shouldn't have been disallowed. So Bournemouth should have 2 points. Been robbed of 2 points. What I found ridiculous about the VAR in the Declan Rice one was how much they're talking to the referee in normal time. Amazing. Apparently Noel Gallagher designed that. He must have been pissed. People getting on the same step as me on an escalator is a big pet peeve of mine, says Tanish. We are doing pet hates. Let us know. I really want to know some of these because I've already said that people not putting the apple juice in the fridge really annoys me. Or what about people at work or at home who, when they make a cup of tea, leave the milk out but also leave the lid off? That's a double whammy for me. Or they spill a bit of the milk and don't wipe it up. That pisses me right. That's the hat trick. 1, you've left the milk out. 2, you've left the lid off. And 3, you've spilt it. You do realise you're talking to your boss, Goldbridge. Don't give a shit. It's a pet hate. Sack me. Yeah, that really is winding me up. So let me know some of your pet hates. Reese Gregory says, people pulling out in front of you and then not putting their foot down, says Reese. I had one today. I was walking down the shops and I was walking towards the escalator, to the doors that open. I saw a family with a pushchair walking out. I really made a point of moving out the way so they could go past me. They were being really slow and chatting. They made eye contact and said, fuck all. So I felt like going, fuck off. If there hadn't been kids there, I thought, I have absolutely moved out of the way. Manners. You've seen me do it. You've carried on your conversation, not even bloody acknowledge me. Absolutely fuck off. That pisses me off. Manners cost nothing. Man City dominating possession at the moment. What do you think of Villa this season and how they're going to do, says Logan. I think we've done that one. Solanke versus Calvert-Lewin, we've done that one as well. People getting on the same step as me on an escalator. I'd say, what you're doing, Tarishk. You must get on busy escalators, I suppose. I suppose in London, yeah. People who stop and stand in doorways, says Keel. And crumbs in butter, says Philip. This is why I buy my own Greek yogurt, because I like Greek yogurt with some cocoa powder in it, because then you mix it together and it's like chocolatey yogurts, but it's not full of all the shit that you buy in a chocolate mousse down the thing. But I always put the chocolate in first, because if you put it in, basically I can't be asked to use 2 spoons. So if I put the yogurt in first and then I go in the cocoa, it's going to make it horrible. So I always put the cocoa in the bottom and then I go into the yogurt, and it makes the yogurt a little bit chocolatey. So I buy my own yogurt, so not to piss people off. People who have loud phone calls in the garden, says Callum. Some people have got no shame. It's all Man City here at the moment. People who have loud phone calls in the way. I told you before. I mean, just because I've got pet hates doesn't mean that you don't play on other people's pet. It's a weakness, isn't it? If you came round my house, the best thing you could do to wind me up was say, "Have you got any apple juice?" and then leave it out. You know you've got me on strings. You found my kryptonite. But there was a guy when I used to work in Ireland 20 years ago, we had like a little kitchen at the end of the office, and where our desks were was quite close to the kitchen, so if people were in a conversation you could hear it really. And he'd always go and make himself a cup of tea, and every time you'd hear him shouting, "Tea bags in the sink! Who's left tea bags in the sink?" So somebody'd made a cup of tea, and then they took the tea bag out and put it in the sink instead of putting it in the bin, and he used to go mad, absolutely mad. I didn't even used to drink tea at work, but I'd purposely just boil the kettle to get a tea bag in and then just put it in the sink, just on purpose to wind him up. He really used to get angry. I just love it when he walked in and go, "Fucking hell, there's tea bags in the sink." Pet hate when my super chats are not read, says Parker. Well, blame Goldbridge on that one. Salman Khan says, people who shorten down words, din-dins instead of dinner. No, Barbara, stop calling your holiday hollybobs, mate. We get it a lot round here. I hate hun. How you doing, hun? When I used to be on in WhatsApp groups for works and stuff, like a group chat for work, and I just would not be involved in it at all. And somebody'd go, "Oh, I've just had to have a meeting. I'm fuming." And then someone would go, "What's wrong, hun? I'll speak to you later, hun." I hate hun. Unless it's got E on the end, I like honey. People leaving the trolley in stupid places, says S. Thank you very much for that. Solanke has battered Calvert-Lewin, by the way, at 80% to 20%. So I think we'll end that poll. Parker says, "What's for din-dins?" Yeah, not good. Hun, din-dins. Any words you want to throw in here today as well? We call everyone duck in Stoke. They do it in Nottingham a lot as well. And Serre. Oh, Inter have got a bit of a break here. They've blown that. Or have they? Bit of space down the right. How can he be offside there? Taram. How can you be offside there? You're looking right down the bloody line, you prat. All the money and you've got caught offside there. Absolute wally. How's he got himself offside here? He stands there for bloody ages as well. What an absolute lazy prat. Can you do a Kovacic one, Mark? Your choice. Either or. Okay, I like this. I'm feeling active tonight. In fact, I need to get the stand-up desk going. That'll get me really going. Either or, Kovacic or... I've got one. Xhaka. I like that one. You got to give me some credit for that. Give me some skin, brothers and sisters. Kovacic or Xhaka. We like that one. Thank you for making life slightly better, says Ankit. Thank you for watching, mate. Zed Marcus says, people who chew with their mouth open. He won't be watching, but Will, who I do the podcast with, drinks like a horse. Yeah. I never want to say anything because it might, he might have a nasal problem. But the way he drinks water is just, I've never had anything like it. Normally I don't care, but if I've had a bad day and I walk in to do the podcast and I'm a bit like not prepared and he starts drinking water, I do feel like, I might just end it. Not my life. I mean the podcast series. I feel like I'll go, "I'm fed up of you drinking water like a fountain. I'm not doing the podcast anymore." But I'd never say it to him because it might offend him. I've just realised I've done it live on a stream. Yeah. Don't ever criticise somebody about how they eat. I did that once and I regretted it big time. It was a family member. I was younger than them. It was their house. I was sat watching telly. They came in with their food on their lap, eating away. I was really intently watching a game of football, and they were eating like, I think they had a cold at the time, and they were eating like this. I could hear everything. You know when you don't want to hear a noise and you can hear it even more. I remember a lad at school telling me once that he woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of his parents shagging, and he'll never move past that trauma. And he said, I once saw a lion eat a squirrel, and that was nothing like that. But yeah, you know that noise that you just can't stop hearing. I was almost biting my pillow, trying to, so angry. I was like, I just remember having the pillow there. I was like, oh, I can't put up this anymore. I looked over at the plate and they weren't even halfway through. And I just got to that point where if I just said at the start, could you close your mouth a bit more, which still would have wound them up. I actually just blew my top and said, has anyone ever told you you eat like a pig? I mean, it's never going to go down well, is it? I got grounded for 2 weeks for that. Inter doing all right at the moment. 10 minutes gone, knocking the ball about. No real chances, but Man City obviously playing Arsenal on Sunday. What a disgrace. What an who can we blame? It's that part of the show. Who can we blame? Bum, bum, bum. Who can we blame? Bum, bum. Let's get a quiz. Who can we blame? Who can we blame? Because this is a disgrace. Man City play Arsenal on Sunday at the Etihad in one of the biggest games of the Premier League season. Arsenal are playing in Italy on Thursday night. What the fuck? Man City are playing in Manchester on Wednesday night and the game is in Manchester on Sunday. Arsenal are playing in Italy on Thursday night. What a fucking joke. I'm sorry, these things need to be spoken about. That is an absolute disgrace. The Premier League should be kicking off. Arsenal should be kicking off. For one thing, Champions League football shouldn't be on a Thursday night anyway, but they want to launch their new bloody format at the expense of the bloody Premier League. They've done it on purpose. They do it on purpose, Lynn. If he'd have let that go, he'd have been onside, you knobhead. Oh, Inter Milan in the final third. Robbo says, could you do a poll on the blame game? Who are we blaming? It's UEFA, isn't it? It's UEFA as always, says Ram. Disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Hope you've had a good day. Good to relax with the Champions League. How much are you looking forward to FC 25, says Howder. Really looking forward to it. My career mode starts on Friday. Maybe starts tomorrow. I can't say too much. Maybe. Fingers crossed. But yeah, really looking forward to it. I mean, God knows what the gameplay is going to be like. I mean, I got the sack when I was top of the league last year, and that ended the career mode. I'm still not over it now. Mudryk to join Marseille on loan in January, says Rub. Is that true? Thanks for the super chat, by the way, Howder and Rub and Robbo. Get them through the $sign. We'll read those out. Mark, why the hate on United after winning again? Hated, ignored, never... Hated, adored, never ignored, Ankit. John Murray says, Clattenburg said to give fouls for Milan just because the Milan fouls were loud. John, why am I not surprised? I've watched football all my life. Why do you think the name Home Wanker is Haaland? No, he's a good tackle. Home Banker is a term in football for, like, you know, Man City against Southampton. It's a home banker. It's 3 points, isn't it? Home Wanker is a referee who favours the home team because he's intimidated by the crowd. Well, Clattenburg saying that just proves it. You know, the crowd are getting on your back a bit. Give them a few free kicks. Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? Dylan Jones says, my pet hate is people who make a cuppa and don't ask anyone else. Yeah, that is just selfish. Bad manners, mate. Bad manners. Sophie says, I've just seen your comments on the kit. Noel Gallagher created it as a definitely maybe album anniversary. It also has his writing on back. Mate, I'm a big fan of Oasis, but that kit's shit. You know, I think sometimes the truth is fair. Like, you know what? Give me a genius Look, I'm trying to think of someone I really respect in life. Can't pick yourself, can you? There's a quiz. Give me someone. Give me someone that is universally respected. Einstein's dead. Stephen Fry. David Attenborough. He is quite... Yeah, David Attenborough is a good one. If David Attenborough walked into my kitchen with a cake that looked like shit and I smelt it and it smelt like shit, I wouldn't go, David, it's fantastic. Is there anything you can't do? I'd say, David, you're very respected, but you clearly can't cook cakes. It looks like shit. I am not even going to taste it. And that's what I think about this kit. Noel, you may well, very, very well may be a very good writer of songs, but Inter on the attack here, but your kit designs are shit. Here we go. Get a shot off, Inter. Get a shot off. Oh, you needn't have bothered. You needn't have bothered, Thuram. You needn't have bothered. That's shite. And David Attenborough would say, at the end of the day, I've tried my... I used to be able to do Attenborough. I can't do it anymore. Remember when I used to do COVID walk-alongs? I did a brilliant Attenborough. There's a brilliant clip of me. I know I'll never top it. Don't do it again. Mark, what's one good thing about our Man City, says Slar? Your fans, to be fair. If you want me to say one good thing about Man City, I won't lie. Look, I was at St Andrews on Monday for Blues against Wrexham. 30,000 fans in League One. But to be fair, when Man City were in League One, before the money, they would get 30,000. Are you going to do Bayern against Villa watch-along, says Farms? I will. I would love to do that, whenever it is. I would love to do that. Hopefully it won't clash with United, because you never know. But I don't think it will. So I will watch it, yeah. What's good? Joshua Middleton, thanks for your super chat. Why don't you get early EAFC access like Ginge, says you? Well, maybe I will. Maybe that's why I might be starting tomorrow. But I can't confirm at the moment. Just keep an eye out on my socials tomorrow, because my career mode might be starting tomorrow. Sir Jim Attenborough, says Nick P. Stand up bridge, yep. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Please do subscribe to the channel. Bottom right, that number's wrong for a start. Don't do me out of... we're on... There we go. Inter again. On the break. Thuram. You got to... where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? Oh, you are so shit, Inter. You are so shit in the final third. Rubbish. You are rubbish in the final third. Please do subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with That's Football. You're very, very welcome, as always. I'm going to change that because we're already on 1.25 million. Absolute legends that you are. I think Inter have had a few breakaways here. I mean, Man City have done nothing. Absolutely nothing. But Inter have had a few breakaways, but they just haven't done anything with it. Very poor in the final third. And one thing we do know about Man City is that if you're going to be... What have I done? What have I done? You got to take your chances in the final third. You can't mess about. Give us your pet hates. How's my either-or going, actually? Xhaka against Kovacic. Celtic are beating SLB. Scales, 17. He likes his fish, does Scales. Kovacic and Xhaka is the best poll of the night by me because it's close. 52% Xhaka, 48% Kovacic. I'll close that in a minute. Go! Oh, no. Cross into Haaland, straight at the keeper with his head. Hope you're well, mate, says Joshua Critchley. Hope you are as well, Joshua. Abhijit says, that kit looks shit when you don't have your fibre. No, that kit looks like shit when you don't have your fibre. Yeah, I know what you mean now. Mad Max says there's not enough votes for Kovacic. I liked Kovacic at Chelsea. Joining Man City. I mean, I liked Grealish at Villa. I think when you join Man City, it's just like... Have you ever been in a position where your missus is going out with... Your missus' mate... Basically, your missus' best mate has a husband. And, you know, you meet up for, like, dinners and stuff. And you really get on and you both like football. But then they break up. You just can't be friends with them anymore. Do a poll between Maddison and Barnes, says Robbo96. What? John Barnes? James Maddison and Harvey Barnes? Okay, I quite like that. Jacques has beat Kovacic. I'll give it a go, Robbo. I don't vouch for some of these polls, but he's done a super chat, so we will definitely do it. He wants to do Harvey Barnes against Maddison. There's a corner for Inter here. Harvey Barnes versus James Maddison. Start the poll. See what happens with this corner first. Inter have got it. No, crap corner. Although an Inter player did get their head on it, it was crap. Fraser says, my pet hate is people who chew food with their mouth open. My girlfriend of 3 years does this. What should I do, Mark? Well, as I said, if you tell her she eats like a pig, it's rude. But she is being silently rude by not shutting her mouth when she's eating. So I would do subtle things like find a TikTok, find a YouTube video about how annoying it is when people eat with their mouth open, and then just send her the link and say, this is really interesting. And then when she says, why did you send me a link about people who eat with their mouth open being annoying? Were you trying to send a message? No. Just say no. And then she carries on doing it. At least you've tried. Bevo eats with his mouth open. Oh, Bevo. God, is he still going, Bevo? What was his thing? You know the rules. Yeah. I did a reaction video to him. I found him that fascinating. I mean, I almost think that there is an alternative to Attenborough's Wild Planet, where we actually study other human beings and just try and get our head around it. Here's Man City. Sabio lays it off to Bernardo. Into Diaz. Into De Bruyne. Good pass that. Good play. Look at this by Man City. If this ends up being a goal, lovely play, but Inter make a tackle. That kit looks shit. We've done that one. Thank you very much. Much. Big up the chat. Who would you go for? Because James Maddison's got 63%. Look, I think technically James Maddison's a very good player, but Harvey Barnes is underrated, you know. He's underrated. I've always quite liked him as a player. Swiss Tory says, one of my pet hates is when guests come into your house and don't take the lead on how you live. Read the room, people. It was clean when you got here. What's gone on at Swiss's house? I actually don't like people who come in your house and don't offer to take their shoes off. I think that's rude. Even as a City fan, I think that kit is absolutely hideous, says James. Looks like someone has pissed all over it. There you go, Noel. Your shirt design's piss. Here we go. Oh, okay. Savio on the back post. Completely mishits it. And good job he's a footballer, Savio, because I don't think he's going to win any... well, no, that's cruel. Even as a City... Thank you. Hi, Mark. Do you think Erik ten Hag will bench Kobe for Eriksen at the weekend? I hope not, Doald. I think if we put Eriksen in the midfield against Palace, it will seriously damage our chances of winning. Robbo96, apparently Attenborough actually said he wouldn't do a nature documentary on humans because he'd be squeamish when it got to the mating. Okay. So he's not a fan of porn. There you go. Attenborough doesn't like porn. I wonder at what age you... Well, I don't know. I mean, I can't remember what time... What time? I've given that away. Can't remember what time I stopped watching porn. I can't remember what age I was. It was a long time ago. I wonder what age you are when you stop getting at it. I mean, I think you should stop at 60, which gives me a couple of years. Matthew said, yes, it's a shame, Matthew, but we will rearrange it. Don't worry about that. Bernardo Silva, offside. Scott says, my pet hate is when my gran passed away. Selfish. Scott, rest in peace, your gran. But that's not a pet hate. That's the circle of life. I'm sure she didn't do it on purpose. I'm sure your gran, Scott, wasn't there in front of you going, I know you love me, but you're not going to stop me from doing this. And then she passes away. I don't think she was doing that, Scott. People who wear, but rest in peace, your gran. People who wear PJs in public are scruffs, says Philip. I don't know whether that's a pet hate or whether he's just stating a fact. And Howder says, a challenge for you, Mark. Say every player who touches the ball with a Brazilian name for the next minutes. It'd be a boring stream, Howder. That's Northfield, says Gavin. Have you seen the Talk Tour podcast? It's absolute cinema, says Bear. Oh, is this the woman who did the spit thing? What a surprise. Everyone's got a bloody podcast now. Side netting from De Bruyne, but he wasn't going to score from there. It was a silly angle. You know what? I can't tell you who said this to me, but reading between the lines, I wouldn't be speaking to many 75-year-olds about this. So think about who it could be, because I don't want to throw them under the bus, so to speak. Although, funnily enough, that's how they died. But I didn't throw them under the bus. I'm just saying, no, I'm trying to make light of what's a serious topic. Anyway, I was speaking to somebody who was in their 70s, and they basically said to me that, and it was unprompted, there'd be no reason for me to ask, and they just said, you know what, as you get older, your taste in women doesn't change. I was like, oh, right. And he was like, yeah. You'd think as you get older and look at an older person in the mirror yourself, that you'd find older women attractive. But it's the same as when you're in your 20s. They're ugly. And you still fancy women in your 20s. They just don't fancy you. And I thought, well, that's something to look forward to, isn't it? When I get into my 70s. Because I actually thought that's what happens. The older you get, you know, you just... When I'm 75 and I pop on certain websites, I'm just going to go to grannies. But apparently not. He might have just been a bit of a nonce, though. Can you remark, which is why I didn't give you the name. Unfortunately, it is true, says Wobbly Banana. It was you who told me. As Sylv says, that's a bit perverted. No, 20s. I mean, look, don't judge it till you've tried it. What I'm saying is there won't be many 75-year-olds here. If that's all the enjoyment you get out of life. I mean, the chances of you actually getting somebody in their 20s when you're 70 is absolutely zero. Unless you're a billionaire. 105 charges, they've ruined the game. There's definitions to this, says Curran. Can you remind my friend Aiden? He's a legend, says Ralph. There you go. Ubelek, thank you very much for your super chat. My pet hate is when people watch me eat, says Rahul. Hey, that's quite a common one. I could not give a toss. I actually used to love getting home from the town with fish and chips and going into the living room and everybody being jealous and just eating it and knowing that they're all watching me while I eat it and they're starving. They'd had their dinner, but they want my fish and chips. It's probably why I do this now for a living. You know, I suppose it's enjoying knowing that people are watching you, I suppose. Will you be indulging in a bit of the Penguin TV series, Mark? What's that all about, Connor? I don't know what that is. I'm looking forward to the Netflix Vince McMahon thing in a week. I'll tell you what, we're getting some cracking pet hates here. Loving it. I haven't had fish and chips in ages, you know. I find it too stodgy. I really like the idea of it, but... Oh, the Penguin TV series. Yes, I know what you mean. Yep. When's that out? You know what, though? The new Batman film with Patterson, it's just not... It's good, but it's not a touch on the Dark Knight series for me. That's just such a complete trilogy. Would you like to watch people have you... Oh, I don't even know if I can say that. Oh, a free header! That's straight at Edison. Why does it... Oh, he's offside anyway. Good cross into the box from Inter, but it's straight at Edison. Yeah, they're all offside again, look. Inter need to switch on. They should have scored anyway. Crap header. Offside and a crap header. What advice can you give for maintain... Look, Sven's made a great point here. Agony Bridge is back for the new season. If you've got any advice. I think my favourite one last year was... And they'll remain nameless because I can't remember it. So I'm happy to give people advice. But basically, on one of the watch-alongs last year, right? Think, what would you do? Somebody did a super chat, I think it was. So they paid for the privilege, really. They should be paying because it's top advice. And it was, although I will do free ones, they basically said that their girlfriend of the last 5 years had broken up with them. And he really wanted to go out for a drink with his best mate just to drown his sorrows. But his girlfriend was round there because he was helping her. And then he was like, do you think that's a bit odd? And I said, 100%. He's shagging her and that's why she's breaking up. We never found out what the truth was, but in my world, that is exactly what's happening. I mean, your best mate wouldn't say, can't go for a beer with you because I'm consoling the girlfriend that's just dumped you. Definitely, it was a harsh truth. Hi, Goldbridge. Thanks for keeping the passion in the game. I love listening to the watch-alongs all the way from Florida, says Oblick. Thanks, pal. Lovely to know. Lovely play. Lovely play here. Inter. Bit of a break going on. Lovely play. Oh, Zielinski. Oh, he's so late there. It should be a red. No, he's giving him a yellow. Diaz. He didn't get the ball. Lovely play here. Really good by Zielinski. To be fair, I think he might have got a little bit of the ball. Oblak, thank you very much, and greetings from Florida. People who wear jogging bottoms outside, awful, says Jonathan. Have you ever seen Curb Your Enthusiasm? Basically a show about pet hates. This sounds good, Nomad Joe. Pet hate, slow walkers in school or public. Ah, mate. What about slow drivers? CFC Cash. I was, where was I? I was driving back from Seb's football on Sunday and we needed to get back quick to do a quick changeover so we could go and watch my daughter play. And we were coming back to let the dog out and there was a car in front doing 30 in a 50 and then we went into a 30 and they were doing a 20. Just get off the road, Grandad. My pet, and it was a granddad, I'm not being sexist. Can you be sexist towards your own sex? Probably can these days. It's political correctness gone mad. Into Grealish here on the left-hand side. It's going to use Sabio, surely. I've noticed that people have been saying that Savio's not taking people on as much now. Welcome to Petbull. Have a chat with Grealish. My pet hate is I wait for a bus in a queue and someone just walks past us to get on the bus when the line is there, says Daniel. Do you say anything, though? You know, we live in a world now where do you say anything about it? That's the problem. These people live on the fact that you're not going to say anything. And then if you do say something in this world, let's be honest, you could end up hurt. Oh, good play there by Savio to the byline, cuts it back, and then into good interception. He's won it back though. Pet hate is Jamie Carragher and overgrown uncut nails, Charlie George. Oh my God, what am I into doing here? Running away from the ball. Haaland shoots wide. I tell you what, I don't think it's a pet hate, but I do always. I remember there was a lad at school who used to play football and everything. You know, he wasn't doing it because he was a goth or anything. I mean, I don't know why he would, but he used to have quite long fingernails. And I think it was laziness. And I used to think, maybe he was a Freddy Krueger fan. What advice can you give for maintaining a long-term relationship, especially after having a child? Well, Sven, this is a very serious point. And, you know, when you have a child and you bring another life into this world, your responsibility is to try and provide a platform of stability for that child. So if you're responsible enough to get somebody knocked up, then you should be responsible enough to be part of that child's upbringing. And, you know, a stable home life will help them in their nurturing years. So my advice would be to, you know, hope and pray that you're with somebody you actually consider a friend and find attractive. Otherwise, you're going to get very bored in the bedroom and the living room. And oh my God, it was nearly a goal. I don't know how they didn't score there, Manchester City. Good, I'm open for business, Agony Bridge. Pet hate is people hating you on Twitter. It's clueless, says Scott. That's just self-reflection though, mate. We live in a world of anger and frustration where people input that anger and frustration onto others instead of looking in the mirror. When people change lanes when they're driving but they don't put on their turning signal, indicators we call it over here, Sully. Omar says hearing people breathe loudly. Jimmy says my pet hate is the neighbour's mower on a weekend. Can you remind Luke Kildare is better? Can you remind Luke Kildare is better than Cork, says Aidan. Ever have to break things off with a friend? That's never an easy thing to do, says Sully. Why are you breaking things off with a friend? Were you sleeping with your friend? Like what? I've never broken things off with a friend. I've never woke up in the morning and thought, Gaz, we've known each other since we were 6. We've been on loads of holidays together. You know, we've done lots of things. We've played for football teams together, but I woke up this morning, it's just not working anymore. You know, I think the way you drank your water has been the final thing. Thanks for keeping the passion in the game. We've done that one as well. Thank you very much, everybody. James Madison beat Harvey Barnes 60-40. So if you've got any other either-ors, let me know. My pet hate is people saying we live in a world way too many times, says Sage. I love and live to hate. Haters, that's why I barred myself from Facebook because I'm not 13, says Damien. People, pet hate, says James Longhorn. People taking ages deciding what they want in shopping aisle. Here we go. Oh, Summer's got hold of that. I'll tell you what will happen to me. If I walk into the shop tomorrow morning, I normally go to the shop quite early because I have the morning show on United Stand, so I like to have my breakfast and, you know, consume food and, you know, topic ideas. So if I need to go to the shop, I'll go early. The shops aren't very busy at that time. But I guarantee you, if I want Greek yogurt, that one section in that supermarket where nobody is, there'll be 3 people stood in front of the Greek yogurt deciding what they want, and there's actually no space for you to even reach over and just, because you know what you want. You can see the holy grail of Greek yogurt that you want. I want the 5% fat, not the 10% fat. I don't want the lactose free. I want that one. I can't reach it. And you 3 fuckers are just stood there with no knowledge of Greek yogurt, not talking to each other and not aware of anybody else who actually knows what Greek yogurt they want. That is my world, and that is another pet hate as well. Really pisses me off. And then I'll guarantee I'll I'll wait for about a bloody minute to get it, and then I'll think the only other thing I want is walnuts. I'll walk to the next aisle, and there'll be fucking 4 of them there surveying the walnuts. Definitely. We've got a few contenders for either-ors here. I quite like this one. It's a, you know, we are a cultured community here, so I will do this because it's very Champions League-y. Donnarumma or Maignan, which I've probably spelt wrong, but you'll get the gist. Here we go. Man City in the box. Man City looking like they might score in a minute. They've stepped up the gas. That's a foul. Looks like the 115 players are wearing training vests. Kit is such an eyesore, says Rahul. How long until Newcastle win the league, says Bagman. I don't know anymore with Newcastle. I think when they got the money, I thought they'd win it within 5 years. But I think the Premier League FFP rules have really fucked them over. So it's hard to say. One genre of music you would get rid of, says Movie Maniac. Move Maniac. Ooh. Going to offend somebody, aren't I? Yeah, I'm not going to do it because why alienate people? I've actually, somebody just reminded me actually there. There was a good question before that I didn't go back to. Where is it? Have you seen the new Alien movie, says Rob? Yeah, very good. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. I thought the question was, have you seen Alien, which has been on the TV in the UK quite a lot recently, which I've seen loads of time. I prefer Aliens. Here's Inter on the attack. Cut back. Oh, for God's sake. Thuram could not finish his fucking dinner. I'm so glad we didn't buy Thuram. He's absolutely shit. Him and Nicholas Jackson should go for a fucking meal. Oh, he's so bad. Jordan doesn't like dogs. They stink. What improvement are you wanting most from EAFC, says Matty J? I don't think it's a singular improvement. I just think when you think back to some of the FIFA games, like there were some that were better than others. So I think just the feel of the game. You know what? If I had a criticism of EAFC 24, it was that every time I picked it up, I felt like I was playing a different game. It was like there was, you'd have a stream where you win 4 games, playing really, really well. You pick it up the next day and you lose 4 games and it was like you're playing a new game. So, a bit of consistency in that would be good. Thank you very much for those super chats that have been coming in. Just got back from Cyprus, says Charlie George, and I thought the cleaners were joking when they said they couldn't clean the room because they had to give their uniform to City. Hold on, here's Grealish into De Bruyne. Good keeping by Sommer. There we go, quick block. I like that goalkeeper top. Traditional, but modern. Justin Lavrier with a super chat says, my pet hate is when my friend takes 4 hours on the team management screen before an EAFC game because he's convinced he's Pep. Oh, De Bruyne. What's wrong with him? Oh, he's all right. Is Gundogan warming up or is he just doing a funny run? I'm trying to figure out. Arsenal fans will be getting very excited here. I don't think he looks like there's anything major wrong with him. I might be wrong. I mean, sometimes players know, don't they? I mean, he got into a position here to have the shot. He's definitely onside. And was there a connection on his ankle? Didn't really seem to be much. No, he's coming back on. He's fine. He's fine. Theo says Odegaard's going to be out for months. That's a big blow for Arsenal, yeah. Jake says United to be relegated or 3-year transfer ban. I'm not picking any of them. Horrible. Horrible, Jake. Horrible things. What if I said to you, eaten by a shark or polar bear bites both your legs off and you might live? Actually, I'd rather get eaten by a shark. I think the pain of having your legs eaten off by a polar bear and not knowing what it's going to do next, considering what's in between your legs, I'd rather just a shark get it done. You're probably not going to... I've thought about this before too much. I think if a polar bear ate both your legs off, you're going to die. Unless he's doing it outside A&E, you're going to die because he ain't going to stop at your legs and you're going to bleed out pretty quickly. So you're just tormenting yourself. Whereas a shark, it would be painful, but relatively quick if it's the right shark. If it's Jaws. Inter on the attack. Not going to do anything from there. Although he did get a shot off. Ederson saves with his feet. Do you think Arsenal are getting targeted at this point, says Charlie George? Can't get over the fact we go to Italy, then Manchester in the space of 2 days. It's ridiculous, Charlie. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You know what? That was actually a decent shot there from... was it... Who got the shot off there? Was it Bizic? Might have been Augusto. Ding, 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 ding. Thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. It is at half time. It's half time here. Let's stop the clock. Donnarumma or Maignan has gone to Donnarumma with 54%. I thought that would be... It could have gone either way, that. Could have gone either way. Who was your first celebrity crush, Mark, says William. Yeah, easy. It's easy, this. Kylie Minogue. Kylie Minogue or Peggy from EastEnders. She can peg... No. My pet hate is dogs off leads in the public, says Mubeen. Once saw 3 dogs charge towards a little girl who stood screaming. As a sight-impaired person, dogs' unpredictable behaviour scares me. Mubeen, very serious comment and very true. That's not a pet hate, Mubeen. That's a danger. You know, I think, you know, there's been some horrible stories over the last few years of dogs attacking people in public. In fact, there was one horrible story. Horrible. I don't know. I'm not going to share it. I am. This poor girl who lived in a house and had loads of pictures of her with her dogs. It killed her. That's got nothing to do with... I mean, don't... You know, there's people all around this stream now looking at their dog in the living room going, is it... You know... But I like dogs, but... Yeah, not a lot. Some people don't, and they can be temperamental in public. Do you think Liverpool finished top 4? Yes, endless. I do. Thanks for that, Mubeen. Do a knockout style poll for who will be your first signing in EAFC 25. I've got a list. I was working on it this afternoon. My career mode's going to be very different this year. I'm thinking 3-year projects. I'm not putting pressure under myself in year 1, although I probably will win the league, knowing me. I've got a style of football that I want the fans to be very aware of. And I've got some very good scouts working for me. There's a number of young players that we're looking at. So I don't know who my first... If you were signing a player on EAFC 25 for Man United, I don't actually like signing players in the first summer, because I almost want to have a go with what's there because the transfer window's just closed. But I suppose a left back would be a good idea. Hi, Mark. Feeling lucky. Choose a pack. I'll super chat again with your prize. Pack A. Oh, come on, mate. I'm not thick. Mate, you're blocked. And the stupid thing is, right, I've already told you about stuff like this before. You've super chatted, so that means your details of your card have been exposed to YouTube. I hope it's your mum's, and I hope when you get the knock on the door for being a racist, she grounds you. You silly little boy. And also, do I look like I live on a Christmas tree? I'm not stupid. Knobhead. Absolute knobhead and a racist. Piss off. Do you think Arsenal are getting targeted? Done that one as well. I just got into the Ulster Rugby Academy under 18, says the big one. Well done, mate. William says something about Keith Lard and dogs. Don't know the joke. Charlie George says, could we have an either or on Havertz or Solanke? Yes, we can. You can turn off sacking in EAFC 25. Well, I'm going to have a look at it tomorrow before I start streaming it. Anyway, when I do my career mode, the chat are always my scouts anyway. Either or, Havertz or Solanke. So 0-0 in the game, by the way. Let's have a just quick look at that because, to be honest with you, I don't stress out about Champions League games. I mean, we've had many a watch-along where the watch-along chat is more entertaining than the actual stream. We're more than capable of holding our own when it comes to that, and we've had a very enjoyable stream so far. So thanks everyone who's been getting involved, sending in your pet hates. A pet hate is something that annoys you that might not annoy other people. For example, I was talking about how I hate it when I used to be at work and in the communal kitchen, you'd walk in there to make yourself a cup of tea or others, because I'd always offer, and the milk would be out the fridge so it's no longer cold. The lid would be off so it's exposed to the elements, and somebody spilt some of the milk when they put it into their tea. That's a hat trick of pet hates. Let us know yours, of course. Statistically, 62% possession for Manchester City, but 3 shots on target for Inter to City's 2. I think Inter, if they'd have been a little bit better in the final third, actually it's quite an equal game, but I would imagine Man City will still end up winning it. My pet hate is when I'm winning on FIFA and it blatantly scripts me and I lose, says AIKB. Tiram is awful, says M45. Yeah, not been impressed. Not been impressed. Actors who say liberating, says Kenneth. If Ange doesn't beat Coventry, what's next? I take it they're not beating Coventry then. Let me have a quick look at the half-time scores tonight. It's 0-0 between Tottenham and Coventry. Has he taken it seriously? Forster in goal. Archie Gray, Bergvall, Bentancur, Sarr, Werner. He's rotated a little bit, but he's still a very good team. Odebear went off after 18 minutes, so I presume he's injured. And let's not forget, Coventry ain't a bad side. So, look, I think Spurs should be taking that seriously, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be running the risk of losing that. I hate when people leave the cupboard doors open, says Patrick Lynch. Good one. Good one. Instead of pet hates, can we say pep hates, says Parker. And pet hate, a team with 115 counts of cheating on top, says that guy Beto. Well done to the big one on his rugby, which I think we've already spoken about as well. Would Bruno do better at Arsenal than Odegaard, says Jake? I don't think he'd do better. I think he'd do well at Arsenal, but I think Odegaard's a very different type of number 10. It's very more magnetic in his touch and retention of the ball. Early thoughts for Arsenal, Man City. I think Arsenal have got a chance of shutting Man City out. I really, really do. But I don't. I think it's an absolute disgrace, and you can clip me up. I think it's a fucking disgrace that Arsenal are playing in Italy on Thursday night, and then they're playing the biggest game of the season on Sunday. It's absolutely shocking. The scheduling on that is detrimental to the Premier League. If I was the Premier League, I'd be bloody furious with UEFA for that. You know, this is the whether I like it or not as a United fan, Arsenal, Man City are the 2 biggest games of the season. And Arsenal are playing in bloody Italy on Thursday night. It's shocking. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Thoughts on Martial to Athens in Greece is a tour. I'm glad he's found a club, mate. I mean, the drop-off of Martial is a shame, but I think his injury problems have probably been the biggest factor there. Constantine says, I hope you're doing well. On a crappy day, I put you on and it makes me feel better. Who was your favourite Man United player to ever play the game? This is Constantine. I think my favourite Man United players are going to be always Ronaldo, Keane and Beckham. And if I had to pick one, I would probably... Well, the best one is Ronaldo. My favourite one, glamour-wise, was Beckham. I loved Beckham, but as I've got older, I think it's Keane. Chris says, if you do a Google search on empty seats, see what comes up. I can imagine what comes up. There are former players I'm bitter towards, but I can't be bitter towards Martial, says Phil Mitchell. Referees who don't understand what diving is or love players that dive. I don't know which, says Kenneth Cherney. Havertz has beaten Solanke 66% to 34%. I would agree on that. I think Havertz is a better player than Solanke. I would agree with you on that one. Obviously, Solanke's got it all to do. There's a few people taking a pop at actors. Sissom says when some actors say character acting is annoying, they are all characters. Look, most actors are pretentious prats. You think about whatever TV series or anything you like, they're all acting, aren't they? So. And I think they're a special breed, actors as well. You know, I went to acting school for a few months, and some of the shit you have to do as part of that, it's laughable, really. But Keegan says, I can't get Rip out of my head, the name you gave Rio Ferdinand. Yeah, some people don't like it, but I just think some of his opinions are dead, so I call him Rip. Empty seats at the Etihad, says Frank. That's a pet hate. You want people to fill it. Any advice on how to recover from a breakup, says Lucifer. I've said it before, I've said it a million times. You got to get back on that horse and ride it. That doesn't mean go back to your ex and start trying to shag them. That means, like, the horse is a metaphor for relationships. Get back on the horse of relationships and start trying to move on. If you go back to your old flame and ask for sex, at worst, you're going to get locked up for doing something she doesn't want you to do, or he. At best, you know, breakup sex is terrible. It's a terrible idea. It's confusing. Yeah, look, man's got to breathe. So, person's got to grieve. Yeah, relationships, breakups apparently can be quite hard. You got to get over that. But, you know, the reason I use the word horse is because if you fall off a horse, the best thing you can do is get back up and get on it. Otherwise, you're going to get scared of it. I mean, unfortunately, you know, Superman fell off a horse, Christopher Reeve, and he couldn't get back up on it because he was paralysed from the neck down. But most people who fall off a horse are just, you know, bruised. Ego or arse. Get back on it and ride again. I know that's what Superman would have done if he could have done. Any advice on how to recover from a breakup? There we go, Lucifer. We've done that. Don't get on a whore. I said horse, Damien. That's not an excuse for you to go and try prostitutes out. He wasn't the real Superman. Yeah, it was a film, Alex. He was acting. I came here expecting football, but I'm getting life advice, says Tyler. Hey, this is what we do. This is what we do on That's Football Watch-Alongs. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. You can tell, where can I buy your hoodie, Mark? This is not a hoodie. There's no hood on it. This is from Boohoo Man, this is. Horse riding lessons will take your mind off the breakup, says Essil. Don't go riding a horse. What I'm trying to say is, if you've had a breakup, get over it. I always found Football Manager was good, or in those days, Championship Manager. Do a really difficult... In fact, this should be it. This is free, right? When you've had a difficult breakup, get the food you like, get Football Manager on, pick a team that's going to be a really long-term project, and by the time you hit the Premier League, you'll be going, what girlfriend or boyfriend? That guy Beto says shag her mum. What if she's in her 40s and he's in his late 20s, and then her mum's in her 70s? Think it through. You sound like someone with experience, mate. Thomas Cheeseman's bored. Hey, I blame Pep, mate. Blame Pep. There ain't a lot to talk about at half time. Mark, I know you love football, but do you ever get burnout from content creation? Your work ethic and passion are inspiring. Thanks for all you do. Yes, I do, Patrick, I do. But I haven't got it at the moment. But yeah, I do sometimes get it, yeah. Mark, can we have a mini silence for the great Italian Toto Schillaci? My dad wanted to name me Salvatore after him. Underrated striker, says Love Hate Games. Well, I love the fact that you brought that up, because I mentioned it on the United Stand stream tonight, which is obviously a Man United channel, but this is That's Football. So I'm more than happy to mention Schillaci again. I mean, I'm older than probably most in here, but my favourite World Cup will always be Italia 90, because it was the first one I remembered getting in from school, the 4 o'clock games. England, Gaza crying, but a massive part of that was the introduction to Italy, because it was Italia 90, Pavarotti. They got to the semi-finals like us. The final should have been Italy against England, and it ended up being the two teams no one liked, Argentina and Germany. Italy, inspired by what was and still is in Italy, a fantasy story. I mean, Schillaci came into that tournament as a surprise pick in the Italian squad, let alone starting and scoring goals. He had a great tournament. I think he won the Golden Boot, didn't he, in that tournament. Sadly passed away today at 59. The second Italian legend striker went from when I was growing up. Vialli as well, obviously passed in recent years. Really, really sad news. A sad day for Italian football, but a sad day for people of a certain age. You remember that World Cup, and being a young kid watching football, I remember just the buzz of that tournament, and it will always be my favourite tournament. Nostalgic, whatever. Yeah, I was very surprised and very sad to hear that today, because I was only watching a documentary in the summer about the Italia 90 World Cup, and it was like told from different sides and different countries. I think Mateus was in it for Germany. I can't remember who did it for England, but Schillaci was interviewed for it from an Italian perspective. It was, I think it was on Sky. It's a good documentary. Look, I know that's the way the world works. People die and that, but it was certainly a player that touched my imagination as a young kid. Doesn't it seem weird to you that married actors do intimate scenes with other people, says Sven? Yeah, it wouldn't be happening on my watch. It's all right for me to do it. I'd just say, I'm acting. But if my wife was doing it, I'd be like, I bet you was enjoying it. I could tell you were enjoying it. I was just acting. Well, you're bloody acting a little bit too much like you're enjoying it for me. Do your best Carragher impression. I'm not very good, Tom, at being asked to do impressions. I don't like the pressure of it. I'd rather do it impromptu. Philip likes fish sticks. I don't. And doesn't seem weird. I've done that one. Hi, Mark. I'm moving to Japan, says Amir. Do you have any advice for picking up women from another country? Don't. I'll get in trouble. Do I drink beer during the week, says Constantine? Not really. No. Have you seen these films, says Charlie George? Well, this is good because a lot of people can get involved in it. He wants me to rate these films 1 to 3. So get involved in the chat as well. Sleepers, Road to Perdition, and Law Abiding Citizen. Hold on. I've definitely seen Road to Perdition, and I've definitely seen Sleepers. Law Abiding Citizen. Have I seen this? Yes, I have. It's the one where he comes out of prison. Russell Butler. Gerard Crow. Gerard Butler. That's his name. I would sell, or I'd put Law Abiding Citizen in third. I would put Sleepers in second and Road to Perdition first. But that might be because I saw Road to Perdition quite recently and really enjoyed it, and I haven't seen Sleepers for ages. And Sleepers is basically about nonsense, isn't it? Which is It's just a bit, but it's a, you know. Calm down, calm down. It's all about the players. It's all about the players, Tom. Oh, look at me. I've got my white trainers on and I figured out the world how to do tactics. Oh, Gary, let's go to America and go on the fucking Disneyland. I've got my white trainers on. There's an impromptu one for you, Tom. Hey, talking about that, you know the Champions League coverage on that everyone has a big wank about? I've never watched it in my life, and I've never really seen the attraction to it. I like Mika Richards, and I think Carragher's good sometimes. Henry, I think, is just very arrogant, even though he's a brilliant footballer, and he's got every right to be arrogant. And I've really but I got sent a clip by Will. The Pulisic and Thierry Henry thing, he just comes across. I mean, I don't know the backstory. But Henry just comes across as a right knob. It's bad man. You know what? It reminded me of today when I was walking in the shop and then people I moved out of the way and they just never said thank you. Like, he put Pulisic in a right shit position. I just thought it was I thought it was very rude. Very, very rude. Manners cost nothing, Thierry. Yes, you're probably one of the greatest players to ever play in the Premier League, but you come across as a bit of a cock in that. And look, I'm not having a dig out at Arsenal. Thierry Henry is an absolutely world-class footballer, but we've got players at Man United who are legends, who I think are a bit of a cock in real life, if I'm being honest with you. What was his problem with Pulisic then? They've not had any back and forth before, have they? Gakpo says, Mark, Rio Ferdinand or Gary Neville? As footballers or as people? Neither. Manscaped is worth 50 times more since when you started, says M. Parker. Have you watched Cobra Kai, Mark? I've watched it up to what you can watch, Ishan. Anyway, Inter playing out from the back quite well here. I think Inter have done all right, you know, here. I still think they'll end up losing, but... Hi, Mark. Do you think Ronaldo R9 could have reached Messi and Ronaldo levels without injuries? I was a child when I saw him in the 2002 World Cup and he was unreal. It's funny you mention R9. I saw a clip today of him playing on what was basically a cow field. It was absolutely horrific. Some of the pitch, the pitches that these people play on now is just incredible compared to what they were playing on even 15 years ago. But yeah, I think R9 really already has the reputation of one of the best players to have played the game. He'd certainly be, very high up there in a top 30. But injuries were a bit of a problem. It's very hard to compare anybody to Messi and Ronaldo because beyond their talent, they also had a ridiculous consistency of fitness and work ethic and, almost robotic relentlessness. I mean, Ronaldo and Messi, when they were going toe-to-toe for Ballon d'Ors at Real Madrid and Barcelona, I don't know if anybody could compete with that. I'm not saying that R9 wasn't as good as them, but as well as talent, those two players had ridiculous consistency as well. Good question, Nadia. Atmosphere is dead at the Etihad, says Chris. Mate, the only time they get atmosphere is when Adele comes to play. We love you, Goldbridge. You're better than talk shit. TUSFC for life. You're hilarious, mate, says Kieran. Thank you, mate. Don't forget my career mode is back Friday. Could be tomorrow, 3 o'clock. We'll see. I don't want to promise it's tomorrow, but it might be back tomorrow. Certainly be back on Friday at 3 o'clock. Really excited to get started. Won't be on this channel. Don't worry. I'm not gonna put gaming on here. I'll put it on my channel. I said gaming before anyone says anything. Gavin says Airwolf, A-Team or Knight Rider. Wow, this is old school. You've got to be well into your 30s to know what this is all about. Airwolf has definitely got the best theme tune. I mean, if you've never watched Airwolf in your life, just listen to the theme tune on YouTube. I would say for me, Airwolf was the worst program of the three. but had the best theme tune. I would say Knight Rider was the best and A-Team in second. Get it in then. What is he doing? What are Inter doing in the final third? Are they all got bets on? What the bloody hell was that? Kalanoglu? Kalanoglu? It wasn't Kalanoglu, it was Darmian, no wonder. To be fair, this is a right back with a chance to shoot, isn't it? He should have had a shot. If that's an attacker, you're going to have... I'll let him off because it's Darmian and he used to play for Man United. But what is he doing a stupid back heel for in that situation? That's what he's saying. Inzaghi's saying, why don't you have a shoot, you shit? Yeah, should have had a shot. Big Slasher says, would you take Ange over Ten Hag if Ange was to get fired? If Ten Hag walked from Man United, I would take Ange, but I wouldn't replace Ten Hag with Ange, no. Caesar says, did you see... mate, I'm not making that mistake again. Nice try. This is why I don't talk about other content creators, because they want me to say something so they can mention me and get the views. So let them just mention me without me being involved. Grealish, he's all right. He just got trodden on. Good questions coming in. Thank you very much for your super chats. Let's have a look at the normal chats area. Playing Man United on FM24 at the moment. Agate is currently top scorer, says JT. No to Ange, says Fred Army. Coventry's all over Spurs, says Gavin. I will let him... Arthur used to play for United, says Tom. He should have had a shot. Can you get a tour of the United stand from Dublin, says Shane. Yeah. We do tours of the United stand for £4,000 straight into the account number I'll give you now. And for an extra 500 quid, I'll take you into a pub and we can sing songs. If you know, you know. And if you know, that's niche, funny and old. I saw a 17-year-old Ronaldo when he was at PSV, played against my FC Groningen and was already unreal, just like Romario at PSV, Robben and Suarez at my club, and Cruyff with Feyenoord. Unreal, says Marcel. Yeah, I mean, I remember R9. Like, I'm trying to think how old I was when Ronaldo sort of kicked off. How old was he in the 98 World Cup? Because I was a teenager then. How old is Ronaldo then? I wonder if he must be older than me. He's not that much older than me. He's 48. He's only 10 years older than me. Spurs have not had a single shot against Coventry, says the Spurs way. I tell you what, if you're a Spurs fan, that is a tournament, especially when Ange is saying he's going to win a trophy. That's the best trophy you've got. I mean, Europa League maybe. I'd say Man United and Spurs are favourites for that. Maybe that's what he's thinking about. But I certainly wouldn't be turning my nose up at the Carabao. Parker says, I saw a video of a man reacting to your reaction. Mate, I'd had a few to drink and it's my own fault and I have to take it on the chin. You shouldn't be reacting to people talking about you because they're only talking about you because they want you to react, because it's the game, isn't it? It's the game. Come on, Inter. Be bloody good if you scored. Well, good play down the left-hand side. That looked like a foul to me by Rodri, but because it's Rodri, it can't be a foul. The most overprotected player in world football. Plays holding midfielder. Commits about 10 fouls a game. Rarely gets booked. Make it make sense. He is. He's one of the most overprotected players in football. He fouls all the time. Never gets booked. Brighton are beating Wolves 2-1, by the way, in the Carabao Cup. Baliba, Adingra for Wolves and Guedes for Brighton, Guedes for Wolves. They've had a bad start to the season, Wolves. I think they will be okay, but they have had a bad start to the season. A lot of 0-0s in Europe. Oh, here we go. Inter breaking away again. Oh, my God. They're so bad at breaking away. Bruges and Dortmund 0-0. Man City and Inter 0-0. PSG and Girona 0-0. Sparta Prague beat Red Bull Salzburg 3-0. Celtic are beating Slovan Bratislava 3-0. I mean, bloody hell, if Celtic are beating them 3-0, imagine how much everyone else is going to beat them. Bologna drew 0-0 with Shakhtar Donetsk. But City haven't been that good tonight. I really expected them to be. I haven't watched City this season apart from the Chelsea game, and I thought Chelsea should have got something out of that. Didn't watch the West Ham game. Didn't watch the Brentford game, and didn't watch the Ipswich game. Thanks everyone who's tuned in tonight. We're doing Arsenal Atalanta tomorrow. I'm quite looking forward to that because there's a few players from Atalanta I sort of got my eye on. Not on a date. I mean like in a scouting sort of thing for my career mode and Man United's real life. Edison being one of them. Who's your favourite team in each top 5 league? I wouldn't say I've got a favourite French team. My favourite Italian team would be Juventus or probably Sampdoria because of Mancini and Vialli and Lombardo. Spain, don't really have a favourite, honestly. I've watched La Liga and I don't mind watching it, but I wouldn't say I've got a favourite. Germany, again, don't really have a favourite if I'm being honest. Italian football was always my passion growing up. I mean, we were spoiled in the 90s with the coverage that they used to have on Channel 4. Never really had the equivalent of that with La Liga. United is going to lose to Bodo Glimt, says Such Try Hard. I bet we don't. Scott Botham says, what's your thoughts on the weekend? I saw him live at the Etihad last year. Busy as it's ever been. I quite like a couple of his songs, Scott Botham, but I wouldn't buy his album. Speeder says, has anything happened yet in the game? No, I think the highlights for me has been pet hates when somebody said they hate squirrels and would like to shove a Snicker up their arse. Completely, you know, abusing a hypothetical squirrel and getting the interpretation of pet hates completely wrong. And also the agony advice for getting over a breakup and getting back on a horse, and somebody actually thinking that they should take up horse riding, which is incredible. And the advice of going and shagging the girlfriend's mum. I mean, the mum, yeah. It just sounded like a bit too like it had happened to me. Thuram. Good tackle. Good tackle. Play on. Where are you going? Lovely ball. Come on, Inter. They'll mess this up in the final and the third because it's gone to Thuram now. Surely Lautaro Martinez is better than Thuram. Thanks for the super chat there. I don't know how to pronounce it. We have had some substitutions here. I haven't got the stats carousel running around, so my apologies. But as you can see, Man City have made a couple of substitutions. De Bruyne did go off, and Savio came on. So I thought De Bruyne was going to be okay, but does anybody know what that was all about? Might just be being rested, yeah, probably. He's being rested, says Maxi. Charlie George says he's injured. Barella is some player, says Rich. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Barella anywhere out of Italy now. I think he's surpassed that sort of age where he would go because he's 27, he'll be 28 this year. But I think he is a player that, could have done well in the Prem. It's a weird concept, isn't it? The Champions League this year. It's going to take some getting used to. There's no doubt about that. Obviously, Man City won't play Inter again because you only play one team, 8 different teams, don't you? It's 8 games, isn't it? Yeah, it's 8 games. So next time out, Man City are playing Slovan Bratislava, who are losing 3-1 to Celtic. So that'll be a nice, easy game for City. And then the next game after that, they're playing Sparta Prague. So they've got very winnable games coming up. Inter have got Young Boys and Red Star Belgrade. When do Villa play Bayern? Oh, Wednesday the 2nd. We'll definitely do that. I mean, Liverpool-Bologna is interesting, but Villa-Bayern, definitely. Arsenal-PSG next time as well, Tuesday the 1st. That'd be good. Martinez is injured, says Charlie Joy. He's on the bench and he played at the weekend. McLaren is now the fastest car in F1, says Parker. I hope they can catch Red Bull, make it interesting, but I bet they won't. Duran from MLS to Villa, think he'll do well. I think he's already doing well, William. Who do you think is going to win the Ballon d'Or, says Tony. I think it will be Vinicius Jr. Spurs are losing, Mark. Spurs are losing. Thanks for the update. It did have the feel. It's got that Spursy feel tonight from the updates people have been giving. It has got a feel about it. Talking about Lautaro Martinez, he's just about to come on for Inter Milan and Mkhitaryan. He must be getting on a bit now, Mkhitaryan. Give me the age. Yeah, Taramov is so logical. Definitely a right move there. Well, still time in this, but I think Inter at the moment, certainly to me, look like a team that deserves a point, really. Spurs losing to Coventry, says Dimar. Yes. Let me go back to football scores. It's official. They are losing. It's Thomas Asante, 63rd minute. Bissett with the assist. And Spurs, I can tell you, are now doing what maybe they should have done from the start. Making subs, bringing on Son and Maddison. Yeah, it's Spurs losing to Coventry. It's a big one. It's a significant loss if they lose, you know. Definitely. Luke, in capital letters, says thoughts on Simon Jordan. I try not to talk about that lot anymore because it's just not relevant, but very scripted organisation, very cowardly organisation that, you know, I worked with it for 2 years with my own show, was constantly saying, can we do this? Can we do that? These people keep mentioning me on their shows. Can you get me on? No, they won't do it. So Just weird, really. More than happy to use you on their show, slagging you off, but then cowards, really. Lots of history behind Villa and Bayern. 82 replay, says Liam Murphy. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. So PSG Arsenal on the Tuesday of the next Champions League group in 2 weeks' time. And on the Wednesday night, it's Villa against Bayern, which will be massive, massive game. Interplay AC Milan on Sunday as well. It often happens around Europe like that, doesn't it? When we have a big game, they have a big game. Lots. Thank you for that, Liam. If Juve faces Young Boys, it would be the old lady versus Young Boys. Says Dilprit. Sounds like it should be a section on... anyway, we'll leave that there. Charlie George says Martinez wasn't fit enough for 90 minutes. That's why he didn't start. Niki says, what's your top 3 Premier League cult heroes? Well, it's difficult because I'm always going to pick Man United players, but non-Man United players, I would say you've got to put Henry in there. It's difficult because I don't want to put Liverpool players in there, but, you know, you probably should do, to be fair. I'd say Henry's got to be in there. You could argue, I think Gerrard's a good shout. Sound of Silence, as much as I don't want to do it. I mean, I really liked people like Letitia, Ginola. You know, these flair players. I just really like those sort of players, really. This should be a goal. Go straight at Sommer from Foden. Should have scored. Should have scored. Spurs losing to Coventry, but it's only Barnsley, says Mario Franco. Well, Coventry are in a league above. Akanji pass to referee, City's 12th player, says DB. When you're starting your EAFC career mode, says Jack, it's certainly starting on Friday, but it might be starting tomorrow. Here's Grealish into the box. Good block. They're queuing up now. Man City turning the screw, you feel. Bernardo Silva with 20 minutes to go. Cross to the back post. And Gundogan over the bar. Who do you think's going to win, Trump or Harris? Damien, it could be Keith Harris for all I know, because I don't really keep any... I don't get political anyway. Tun says, why is it they say with United it's only Barnsley? Look at Spurs right now. It even happened with Bayern last year from a Bundesliga 3 side. Thank you very much, Tun. Hated, adored, never ignored. Celtic have got 4, says Crispy. Alberta says McLaren is leading F1 since Sunday. No, they're not winning the championship, though, are they? The Drivers' Championship. Jensen, thank you very much for your super chat this evening. Yeah, hopefully many of you will tune into my career mode. It's going to be on my channel. I should drop the link in the chat, actually, so you can subscribe and be ready for it, because a lot of you might not be aware of that channel. I'll pin it in the live chat. But hopefully it's going to start tomorrow. If not, it'll be Friday. That's Pavard coming on for Inter. I can see a late winner here for City. If I know football like I think I do, this will be a 1-0 City win. Because Inter don't look like they'll score if they play till Christmas. Although they're in the box. No, headed away. That would have been a nice little bit of a clip, that, if they'd scored. But it's City on the break now. It's City on the break now. It's murder on the dance floor. It's amazing what shit songs come back as popular in the modern day, isn't it? Agadoo, still waiting for that. Rodri, Grealish, left foot, blocked. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Double substitution here for Inter. It's Pavard and Dumfries coming on. We're only 40 subscribers away from 252,000. So be one of the 40. Get involved with That's Football. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. And we are doing Atalanta against Arsenal. Thursday night football tomorrow. Don't panic, Arsenal. You've not been demoted to the Europa League. It's just because of these new, bigger tournaments. All the games this week are Champions League games, and then all the games next week are Europa League games. I don't know what they're doing with the Conference League. I think they're just going to email them and say, your fixtures are whenever, because I don't think anyone really cares about that, do they? Somebody just said Conference League is on this week. It's not. It's all Champions League this week. So they must kick in next week as well. Women's... Oh, I don't know. When does the Conference League start then? Europa League. I can't even see. I don't know. Chelsea fans, can you tell us? Barella chops Grealish down. Yeah, I can't see any Europa League Conference League fixtures this week, and I can't see any next week. So, I don't know why theirs is not starting till October. I tired of "Come On Eileen" 40 years ago, but no one else seemed to. Says Kenneth. Yeah, it's not a song I've really, when I hear it, I think that's a cracker. Would you say that Adel Tarabat was the last of the flair players we've seen in the Prem? I miss seeing him play. He was a very good player to watch, Jensen. I agree. Samsung says, can you rank your 5 senses by favouritism? Ah, mate, I can't really. My favourite sense, they're all important. Touch, hearing, taste, smell. What is it? Touch, smell, taste, hearing, sight. Give yourself a gold star. You've passed your GCSEs. What one would you do without is a good question. Smell's not a bad one to do without because you can still eat, you just can't taste it. Although if someone gives you a chocolate ice cream and it's not chocolate, but you could smell it. Yeah, I think you'd have to just go without taste if you. I mean, you wouldn't want to lose touch because then you've got to lose your hands and your feet. I'm thinking about that too much. So 15 minutes to go. It's going to either finish 0-0 or 1-0 to City, this. I cannot see Inter scoring, although Dumfries is down the right-hand side, and if he puts the cross in quick enough, it's a bad cross. And City, oh, that was a good chance. Mkhitaryan should have scored there. Conference only plays 6 games, says Matty. That's why. There we go. There we go. I mean, no. With all due respect to Chelsea, nobody watches the Conference League unless your club's in it, and then you feel like you're being forced to. So it's a terrible tournament to be in. I'd take it over nothing. I really would, because it's a long week when you're not in Europe. But yeah, it's a tough wank, that. Right, what was I going to do? I hope Inter get something. I think they deserve it. I don't think it's going to make a massive amount of difference to... Well, we don't know, do we? Because it's year 1 of this. But I don't think City dropping points at home in a league system where you've got 8 games and you're going to be guaranteed to beat 3 shit teams anyway. They should be fine. My prediction is that this is just a way of playing more games with a very easy way of getting through. But I guess we'll have to wait and see if it works out like that and whether I'm right. I know what I was doing. I know what I was going to do. So I'm dropping the link in the live chat for my... only subscribe if you're interested in this. It's not like subscribe to the channel. This is my where my career mode's going to be. So my EAFC career mode is kicking off on Friday at 3 o'clock, but it might be kicking off tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So just subscribe, then you'll get your notification and you know where it is, because that's where it's going to be this year on my YouTube channel. So click and subscribe. I've pinned it in the live chat for you. Hopefully it'll be starting tomorrow. EAFC 25. Yeah, sorry. I'm really excited about it. I mean, how long that excitement lasts for, I don't know. But I've got a massive list of players I want to bring in. And I've got a style of football I want to play. I did play the beta of it in August. And it felt quite good. But, you know, we'll see. I think Man City are going to score, Jar. They're on the edge of the box here. I mean, Inter have defended very well. Take note, Arsenal. Not that they need to. They're very good defensively anyway. But look how Haaland's been kept quiet again. It's amazing how some teams. It's almost like the better the defense, the easier they found it to keep Haaland quiet, because some teams really can't keep him quiet, but other teams do a really good job at it. And that's not me digging Haaland out. I mean, he's the best striker in the world, isn't he? But some teams do a good job at keeping him quiet. It's a lovely ball by Gundogan. Foden. Vardiel. Good save, Sommer. I thought that was going to be it. They are pushing, though, City now. And Sommer gets hold of that. Mason, thanks for your super chat. Appreciate that. Zetti's Bournemouth till I die. What we got? About 10 minutes. Doku's coming on. Silva's going off. A few people are saying that Kane's better than Haaland. Mate, Kane needs dropping from England. Seriously. Look, he's a world-class striker. There's no doubt about it. But he does not suit a certain system. West Ham Chelsea, Saturday lunchtime. Man U Palace, at Palace, 5:30. What time's that Joshua Dubois fight at then? Is that about 11 o'clock, I bet? What's your favourite Equaliser movie, says Zane? I quite enjoyed the one I watched last, actually. I think it was set in Italy. I quite enjoyed that one. I thought it was quite good. Yeah. Probably Equaliser 4. Oh no, they only did 3, Mark. 3. Yeah, I quite liked 3, but it's probably not what people think. I need to watch the first one. I've not watched it for ages. Agony Bridge. Oh, here we go. And it's from Rose. Oh, Mark. That was from Zane Miassi. I hope you're doing well, Zane, by the way. Rose says, Agony Bridge. Please, can you give me ideas to impress a guy I'm going on a date with soon? Also, I really can't wait for the all-day charity video. That's it. I'll tell you what. I'm looking forward to that in November. I forget about it. Super Bowl stream and the charity stream are 2 really enjoyable streams that we do on this channel, actually. Anyway, you've asked for some advice. Wait a minute. Haaland's terrible. Okay. Please give me ideas to impress a guy I'm going on a date with soon. Mate, I could give you clothing advice, but I'd probably get called sexist, so I'm not going to do that. I would say that basically it's difficult, isn't it? But you need to find out what their interests are and then express interest in that, because it doesn't matter whether you're going out with a guy or a girl, or you're a girl or a guy. It doesn't matter. People love people who are interested in things that they're interested in. Like, I got a message from a mate today sending me a video on YouTube of a new Lego release, which is a Star Wars Lego Jabba's barge from Return of the Jedi. And he knew I'd like it. And I went, I really like that. Thanks for sending it me. Because he knows the things I like. So I think that's a good bit of serious advice, Rose, is if you want to impress them, find out what they like and talk about it and act interested. If you could swap one of your senses with an animal's, which would you choose from? Says Jap. What good senses have an animal got that I haven't? I mean, I think animals are quite thick. These polar bears that are apparently starving in Iceland, but are great swimmers. Why haven't you swam to bloody America and got yourself a Big Mac? I mean, I'd never say it to their face because they'd rip my face off, but, you know, you're in Iceland with the polar caps melting and your food sources dwindling. I'm in Iceland getting 2 frozen pieces for £1. Good shot there. Martinez straight at the keeper. Come on, what senses do animals have that we don't have? They don't have common sense. I bet they wish they had our brains. Will the United Stand team ever play Among Us again? Did we play? Well, we try and do that for the charity stream OP. I remember playing that. Florian says he'd like eagle eyes. Nicholas would like night vision. Sounds a bit pervy, though. What are you going to do with it? Oh, I can see really well, or I can see in the dark. You're not going to do it for good reasons, are you? You're not going to go litter picking after hours because you've got a job in the day. I think Warren says flies' reflexes be able to dodge and catch everything. Don't flies see things in slow motion? I reckon that's... Someone told me that before. Which surely that's not right. Will you do TUSFC career mode in EAFC 25? Says Ollie. Well, subscribe and find out, mate. I mean, I don't know whether it's repeatable. Thanks to everyone who's clicked that link, by the way, because 100 of you have clicked it already. So thanks for subscribing. If you're interested in the career mode, it starts tomorrow on my channel. Links pinned in the live chat. Dolphins have got echolocation. Yeah, I've got a pub down the road, 2 minutes walk. Who's the real winner? What are your thoughts on Birmingham City? And apparently dogs can see spirits, says Unknown Spirit. Oh, I thought Sommer was worried about that shot from Rodri, but it wasn't. Do you know if Will is going to Birmingham City versus Cambridge on the 12th? My local team is Cambridge and we're currently bottom of the league. Gary Monk out, says Benjamin. He probably will do. Knowing him, he probably will. Spurs are... Here we go. Foden. Sommer, save. I tell you what, I hope Inter do get a draw here, but I have been saying I can see City winning this late on. Spurs are still losing, yes. Dear, oh dear. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. You can turn off manager ratings from FC25. What's that all about, Niall? Eugene says he'd take animal stamina for shagging. Well, what animals have got... Eugene, that's a superpower. We're talking about powers that senses that animals have that we don't. I don't know of any animal that's a super shagger. Tar, that's the worst putting the names together ever. I'm not an idiot. I don't get caught out by those. It's not 2017. Summer boots it long. They've scored! Spence, 1-1. Jed Spence. God, what happened to him? I remember when he was at Middlesbrough and Forest, went to Spurs, was meant to be like a potential England right back. Well, he scored here. Man City might score as well. Rodri's got it on the back post. Oh, free header, Gundogan, straight at the keeper. That should have been a goal. I mean, fairness, Inter might kick themselves a little bit, but they might kick themselves a little bit, Inter, but Man City have had the best chance of the game there. That's a free header, level with the 6-yard box, straight at Sommer. Big chance. Spurs have equalised, yes. Inter have not scored here. It was Jed Spence for there. Why can't we stop City like this? Inter's lineup isn't that high quality. Also, animals can feel earthquakes before it happens. Kazim says, is Will your best friend in this industry? I've hesitated too long, haven't I? Well, I don't know that that's fair to say, to be fair. I mean, I get on with Will really well, but I get on with a few people in this. I mean, it's a shit industry, to be honest, but there are some good people in it. Good tactics to stop City. Are you going to the next Sidemen charity match as Gakpo? I don't think I'll be involved in that next year, really. I think there's been so many up-and-comers now getting involved in this space that I don't think I'll be required. I mean, I'll always do it. I'll never say no, but I don't think I'll be involved this time, to be honest. Especially now you've got Ginge managing his own team, doing that. I mean, it's a logical choice, isn't it? So listen to Neville for 2 hours or keep Maguire for 3 more seasons, says KK. Hey, if I had to go in a room with Neville and listen to him, put me in it. What are your thoughts on Celtic right back, says Snazzy. I don't watch Celtic, mate, so I can't really give you any opinion on their players. 4 minutes added on here. I'm going to university football trials tomorrow, says Godfrey. Good luck, mate. Any advice for the role of a diminutive midfielder? Just play the game, mate. Don't have any regrets at the end of it. It's like anything in life. Interviews, big moments. Don't let the moment, basically the best advice you can give to anybody is all you've got to do is perform. Because that's the thing you're going to beat yourself up about afterwards. All you've got to do is perform. I mean, you can shut City down. We've seen it before. I've seen United do it. I've seen Arsenal do it. We've seen Real Madrid do it. You can shut Man City down. I mean, I don't think Man City are at their best yet. But the problem is if City score early, you've got to shut them down all game. But, I mean, Italian team's going to defend well, aren't they? But there's still a chance for a late goal. I mean, it's interesting because I don't know. PSG have scored as well. John says he hates City. You might hate them even more in a minute. No, headed away. Keeper's going to get hold of that. Frustrating evening for Haaland, but we know he's a service striker, and if you can't get the service to him, then You know, best striker in the world, but he's not going to create it himself. Damien says, orcas have part of the brain humans don't have. It's called paralimbic system and is more complex than humans. Very complex, intelligent creatures, says Damien. Can't talk, though, can they? Have that. Humans 1, killer whales 0. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to jump in the sea and say it. They'll be bouncing me around like a beach ball. Last time I went swimming in the Atlantic and played with a load of orcas, I didn't notice wireless internet or microwave ovens or Ferraris in their garage. So intelligence overrated. Tottenham are going to win this. They're 2-1 up. There you go. Big, big result for Ange. I don't want Ange to get the sack anyway. I think some of the criticism of him has been incredible. I mean, I think Spurs play good football. I think he's a likeable guy. I think Spurs have played better football than they did under Mourinho and Conte and Nuno. So I don't want him to get the sack. I think... oh, my God. Man City should have won this. Gundogan, in the last 5 minutes, has had 2 headers from the 6-yard box, 1 at the keeper, 1 over the bar. Definitely should have won this. You can't argue about it. Doku with the cross. It's a lovely cross. Oh, I mean, I'm scoring that. I'm smiling as I head that. That is on a plate. I mean, that's not even on a plate. That's like when you used to get fed as a baby, you know, on the spoon, mouth wide open, just swallow. And that's the final whistle. So it finishes 0-0. I think Inzaghi at the end there, for all the hard work they did defensively, will be very relieved that Gundogan, with the last play of the game, should have won it, didn't win it, and it finishes 0-0 there. Spurs have beaten Coventry 2-1 as well. Big turnaround for Spurs. They've had to go through the mill a little bit there, but 0-0 here. I've really enjoyed the stream tonight. I hope you have as well. We are back tomorrow for Arsenal against Atalanta. Don't forget to subscribe. Links in the live chat to my career mode, which is probably going to start tomorrow, by the way. Probably is going to start tomorrow by the looks of it. So it's looking good. It was meant to start on Friday, but career mode at 3 o'clock tomorrow on that channel kicks off. Click that live chat. It's on the Mark Goldbridge channel. That was a good 0-0, says Jake. I thought it was a shit 0-0. Just flopped to date, Mark, because all I did was talk about football, says Seed Boy. Got to play the game, mate. Got to play the game. Should be talking about them and what they're interested in. Yeah, back tomorrow. Atalanta against Arsenal. We've been speaking about pet hates. I'll think about another topic tomorrow. Or bring your own. Think about whatever you're doing tomorrow. What topics would be good for the community chat tomorrow night? And don't just come along with, could you knock a polar bear out? Because the truth is, I could, but it'd have to stand still and let me. But, yeah, probably could, if I'm being honest. Take care, everyone. Stay safe, and I will speak to you later.